Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing Make Your Ex Think About You. I provide audio coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details. www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing Make Your Ex Think About You. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, the key is to make your ex think about you. But how can you do this? In today's podcast, I'm going to give you 3 ways to increase the chance of making your ex think about you. So let's get straight into this. And number 1 is use social media correctly. So social media can both be seen as a positive and a negative when going through a breakup. It's important for me to say that your mental health must always come first, and therefore, if what I'm about to suggest to you seems to pull on your mental health in a negative way, then you certainly shouldn't be considering it. So let me try to break this down to make it a little bit more understandable about what I'm getting at here. So when you use social media, there are 2 main elements to it, of course. One is you posting, and the other is you consuming the content that other people have uploaded. When we're trying to get an ex back, when we're trying to get our ex to think about us, we need to be concentrating on what we upload and making sure that we ignore what they upload and also ignore what other people upload, which may include information about our ex. In particular, I'm kind of considering, of course, friends of friends, for instance. This is something which can really set you back. I strongly suggest you never check your ex's social media. It will never help you. It will never make you feel good. At best, it will probably confuse you, and at worst, it will break your heart again. You can never gain the information you crave and desire from social media because ultimately, you never know how, where, and why anything is posted. Most people post things to showcase their best life, and therefore, it is not a fair representative of what is actually going on. The problem that we have is that when things don't make full sense, our brain, our mind fills in the gaps and tries to create a narrative for us. But our mind doesn't help us. Our brain doesn't fill in the narrative with elements which make us feel good. Unfortunately, our mind fills the gaps of the narrative with the worst case scenario. So for instance, if you see a photo of your ex looking great in a location you don't recognise, instead of just thinking there's a strong likelihood that they're with friends or family or doing something which is a lot more mundane than the photo may suggest, all of a sudden you consider the fact that they're somewhere exotic, you're thinking to yourself they're with a new person, you consider that there is a new boyfriend or new girlfriend in the picture, behind the scenes maybe taking that photograph, so to speak. Your brain will never help you in this way, so I strongly suggest don't check your ex's social media. Now that ties in with what I was saying a little earlier when I said your mental health must come first. If you don't feel that you can cope with your ex connected with you on social media because of what you might see of them or what you might not be able to resist looking at, then you may need to consider removing your ex from social media. Sometimes you might need to consider removing yourself from social media. Your mental health comes first. Only you know what to do for the best. But if you want to try to get your ex back and try to get your ex to think about you, when we consider social media, we need to be concentrating on what we post. What you post is obviously something which could get back to your ex. Now, even if you're not connected with your ex online, you could be connected with friends of friends, and they might drip feed the information back to your ex without you even having to tell them to do this for you. It can be very, very useful. But this will depend what social network you are using. Is this a situation where even if you're connected with your ex, you can turn off notifications so you don't see what they post, but they will see what you post? You need to be looking into this yourself. But the key to intriguing your ex is the word intrigue. What you should be doing is posting online intriguing things about yourself. Now, when I say intriguing, I don't mean lying, okay? You don't want to be somebody who is saying this, that and the other, which isn't true. And then if you hear from your ex again, you're in big trouble because they might comment on those elements that aren't true. You've got to be telling the truth, but make sure, as I said previously, that you post your best life. Don't lie, but make sure that the light is shining on what you are saying in a positive way. So whatever you post, make sure it is positive, make sure it is intriguing, and ideally make sure it is ambitious. These are the types of things which will make your ex think about you. Remember when I said earlier about if you saw your ex with a background that you didn't recognise, you might think, well, where are they and who are they with? Well, why don't you do the same? If you post a photo of yourself, make sure you are looking your best. Make sure you're in a location where your ex probably wouldn't recognise. But most importantly, make sure it is not aimed at your ex. Make sure if your ex sees this, they don't think, this is for me. Because it will lose all value. This has to be something for everybody, but just assume that your ex will see it and try to pull on their intrigue. If you want advice and suggestions about the types of posts you could do, then please consider my audio coaching service. This is when we speak one-on-one and I can really understand your unique situation and the unique situations which arise between you and your ex to make those suggestions. If I was going to make suggestions right now about what you could post online, I would have to consider my whole audience. I have to generalise. It would be both for men and women, it would be a wide age range, and that is before we even consider all of your different interests. It would be impossible for me to say. So if you speak with me on an audio coaching call, one-on-one, we can really delve into this. But in essence, you want to be posting something which is positive, intriguing, and ambitious. Don't post a lot more than you would ordinarily. We don't want this to stand out like a sore thumb, but it's obviously for your ex. However, if you don't really post at all, then you need to post something. So this could be once every 2 weeks at first, maybe then moving to once a week. Whatever your situation, just don't make it look completely obvious that you're now overloading your social media with 20 posts a day when you never used to post anything. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast about how to make your ex think about you. And point number 2 is friends of friends. Now we've already mentioned friends of friends. I was saying that they might be connected with you on social media, even if your ex isn't, and they may drip feed the information back to your ex about what they see. And this is absolutely true in all other instances. If you have friends of friends but you still speak to, you have to consider that this will get back to your ex. Even if your friend of friends says, look, I'm not going to tell your ex what you're telling me, don't believe them. Just imagine that your ex is standing behind them straight away and anything you say is going to be heard by your ex. That is the best and safest way to have a conversation with friends of friends. So when we want to drip feed information back to our ex, we don't make it obvious. We don't say, look, please tell my ex this. That looks needy, it looks desperate, it is not attractive. You need to be more covert than that. You just need to consider that they will likely tell your ex. So what do? Well, in essence, you present yourself as a positive individual. Always remember that what you say will probably get back to your ex, so make sure you don't present yourself in a negative light. Don't come across as needy, don't come across as desperate, don't come across as angry, bitter, or somebody who is mentally unstable. This will not help you. Attraction is found in people with stable mindsets. And although a breakup is very, very challenging, you don't want to be coming across as somebody who isn't keeping their things together. You need to be really thinking as sensibly and as calmly as possible. Behave in a happy, carefree and fun way. Again, use ambitious elements of your life to speak to the friends of friends about, and just let that type of thing intrigue your ex into reaching out to you. Now, there is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back. Nothing works 100% of the time, and nothing fails 100% of the time. But if you can intrigue your ex, then you stand a great chance of regrown romantic emotional attraction in their mind to wonder about you. And if this hits the necessary high point, if they really feel this intrigue and they're starting to miss you enough, this is when they will reach out. So, when you speak with friends of friends, use this as an opportunity to get across your positive lifestyle. You are stable-minded, you are happy, carefree and fun, and you're living your best life. Don't come across as somebody who is negative. Don't come across as somebody who is angry or bitter. This won't help you because your ex is likely to find out about it, and that is not attractive. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast about how to make your ex think about you. And point number 3 is the no contact rule. So for those of you who don't know, the no contact rule is something that lots of people suggest you implement if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back. However, there are many different versions of the no contact rule that you can find online, and I believe that my version will give you the best possible chance of success. So I suggest that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, ring the bell for notifications, and check out my playlist entitled The No Contact Rule. This will allow you to immerse yourself in my version of the rule and understand why I believe it will give you the best possible chance of success. But when we're considering the basic principle of how to make your ex think about you, the no contact rule is so powerful because if you remove yourself from your ex's life, that will create wonder. Somebody can only miss you if you are no longer in their life. Your ex can't miss you if you are constantly texting them. Your ex can't miss you if they know deep down that you're going to give them a call every other week. You have to do something to remove yourself from their mind to allow the space to grow intrigue and attraction. And that thing you need to do is follow my version of a no contact rule, which, as I've just said, does differ somewhat from some of the other versions that I found online. If you use my version of a no contact rule, you'll be improving yourself every single day, becoming a better person today than you were yesterday, and a better person tomorrow than you are currently today. And as you move your life forward, your ex will be wondering why you aren't reaffirming their value. A dumper doesn't consciously want their dumpee to contact them, but subconsciously, a dumper is expecting a dumpee to contact them. So you can really change the power shift in your favor by living your life to the full and removing yourself from your ex's space, because no, they don't want you to contact them, but they are expecting you to. And if you don't do this, you're going to confuse their subconscious, and again, that will create intrigue and they will think about you. This might not take days, it could be weeks, months, it depends on your unique situation. But what I can say is that if you implement my version of a no contact rule, your ex will think about you. And it might mean that they reach out after a short period of time, it might mean that they reach out after many months or even years, it might mean that they never contact you again. That's the reality of the situation, but the fact is, they will think of you, they will wonder about you, and whether or not they reach out to you will be dictated dependent on your relationship breakup and aftermath. But when we're considering what we can do to try to create a scenario where our ex thinks of us, my version of a no contact rule will give you the best possible chance and opportunity to create that space, intrigue and wonder so they do think about you. And at the end of the day, that will give you the best chance of hearing from your ex again. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. DateMe.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back, or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, DateMe.tips, check it out now.